Hi there, I'm Dermott and welcome to Wednesday's Targets in Focus with Kiran Kowshik, FX Strategist at BNP Paribas in London, to have a look at $3 pairs, the Aussie dollar, the Euro dollar and the cable. So Kiran, let's begin with the Aussie dollar, which we saw climb higher today against its US counterpart after the release of mixed economic reports from Australia. Now, what do you think about the RBA's decision to hold rates? And what are you expecting to see from the Aussie dollar?
Yeah, in terms of the RBA statement which came out yesterday, on balance, a lot of it was the same from the prior month, but the point I would make is it was slightly more hawkish and probably another factor supporting the Australian dollar. The two changes I would mention is, firstly, the RBA is sounding much more confident of past easing actions having an expansionary impact on the economy, i.e. suggesting there's probably less need to ease policy. And secondly, the rhetoric surrounding the currency is far less aggressive compared to the prior month. Namely, they're talking about the Aussie having only risen lately. Remember last month they said that it was higher than might be expected given the decline in export prices. So I think the RBA is probably also seeing an improvement in the exports data and is a little less concerned about the strength of the Australian dollar. In terms of where we see the Australian dollar climbing, we are fairly bullish on the currency. Over a month's time frame, I think it could go to 105.50. In terms of a 6-month time frame, you're probably going to get close to 110. And there are a number of reasons which we think will support that. Firstly, ongoing QE from the Fed, which will weaken the dollar against the Australian dollar. Secondly, continued expectations of appreciation in the Chinese currency. We expect continued gains there. And moreover, finally, we think reserve managers will be quite active in buying the Australian dollar in the quarters ahead.
Now, moving on to the Euro dollar. Today we actually saw the Euro was trading near 4-month lows on the back of weak manufacturing and employment data from the Eurozone. Now, this has raised concerns over the outlook for first quarter growth. Now, are you bearish on Eurozone growth, and should we be concerned about this, this fear for Eurozone growth having an impact on the single currency?
Yes, I am bearish on Eurozone growth. Our economists continue to think the economy will contract this year just like last year. But on the FX point of view, I think it would be a mistake to actually trade the euro based on growth or yield differentials. More and more over the past 2 years, what we have learned is that the euro is more responsive to financial market confidence. The continued tightening in peripheral spreads in the Eurozone suggests euro dollar should probably be trading closer to 132 as opposed to 128 at the present juncture. So I would be a better buyer of the euro dollar on dips towards the 127 level.
And finally, looking at the cable, the Bank of England has its rate decision tomorrow. So, how is the cable trading ahead of this meeting?
Well, sterling has continued to trade fairly weak. There are a number of factors in recent days which have led to that weakness. Firstly, the weaker manufacturing PMI yesterday, followed by the construction PMI today. In terms of tomorrow's Bank of England decision per se, we're not expecting too much of a change. We probably expect the BOE to only take action once Governor-designate Carney comes to town in July. But I suspect the minutes for tomorrow's meeting, which is released 2 weeks from now, will be more important. If you do see 1 or 2 more members vote for more QE, we think sterling could suffer on the back of that. But staying away from day-to-day development, some of our indicators, for instance, the continued rise in U.S. inflation expectations, suggest that cable should probably be trading closer to 149 compared to current levels.
That's great. Thank you very much for your commentary on these pairs today. Well, viewers, tomorrow I will be covering the Bank of Japan's rate decision, and also my colleague Natalie MacDonald will be having a look at the Bank of England and the ECB rate decisions, so do make sure you tune in tomorrow for that. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day.